We're going to start in Matthew chapter 19. To get the background of this one scripture, we're going to do like 26. But Jesus beheld them and said unto them, with men this is impossible, but with God all things are possible. Okay, if you go back into the story there, it's talking about the rich young ruler. And in verse 16 it says, behold, one came and whatever. And he said unto him, why callest thou me good? There is none good but one that is God. And he said unto him, which is Jesus? Keep on going. The young man saith unto him, verse 20, said unto him, all these things I have kept from my youth. What lack I? Jesus had just done laid down what he had to follow. And he had to follow the 10 Commandments. He had to follow all the rituals and stuff. And the young man said, well, I've done all this, but now, what is there left to do? And Jesus said, if thou wilt be perfect, go and sell that thou hast, give to the poor. Take all your possessions, sell them, get rid of everything, give them to the poor, whatever, and come follow me. If you're that perfect. Then he's talking about how the rich man is going to be hard for him to follow God because it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of the needle than it is for him in their kingdom. Then when the disciples heard it, they were exceedingly amazed, saying, who thou can be saved? In verse 26, that's where we are now. But Jesus beheld them and said unto them, with men this is impossible, but with God all things are possible. Beheld them and said unto them, with men this is impossible, but with God all things are. We get to the situations where we have our minds get in there. We talked about, what was it, a couple weeks ago, we talked about how we have to renew our minds. We have to have the scripture in our heart, therefore we have something else to renew our mind on. Right. We have to renew our minds all the time, because when we start in these situations, where it's talking about where this is impossible.
Yes.
This is a two-parter, not just a one thing. So impossible. The impossible is, well, I got this going on, I got this going on, I got that going on. I got family drama, I got church drama, I got work drama, I've got, you name it. There's my impossible, because my mind is in it, relying on my understanding, not going to his. And it says, trust him. When things are chaotic and in disorder, trust him. When the situation is out of your hands and all you can do is just sit there or stand there, you have to believe it. You have to trust him. And that's what he's trying to teach the rich young ruler, was that you had to trust him. Because if he tells you to sell everything, do everything, I'll give all your stuff away, which is what he told him to do. And the young ruler just walked away. Why? Because his mindset wasn't in line.
Right.
He was still thinking, if I give all my stuff away, what am I going to live on?
Right.
So he was trying to teach, Jesus was sitting here trying to teach this guy to trust him.
Right.
Okay? If you believe in him, then you're using faith.
Okay.
And if you're using faith, you're using hope. Faith is whenever we work toward a worthy goal, we're exercising faith. Hebrews chapter 11 says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. We don't all necessarily need to know that God's doing his thing when he is.
Trust.
What was it? The Israelites, they were in Egypt for 400 something years. So you minus 40-something years off that, because when God was answering their prayer, he had to get a person that grew up in there with the Egyptians, so that his mindset would be how they would think and thought.
Right.
And get them where it hurt. Logically.
Mm-hmm.
The hope. The feeling that what is wanted can be had. That's the reason you have faith and hope, because you believe, well, if I want to believe God for my healing, well, I got hope because I'm looking toward it. My healing's out there. I got to just do is obtain it.
Right.
What we had, or the events that will turn out for the best. When you start believing in Him, you are exercising faith. When you're taking steps that you need to get where you're going. Now if you're sick, or there's a problem or a situation, you're taking the steps what you need to. The way the Word lays it out, you're supposed to go into the church, you go to the altar and ask for someone to pray for you for the laying of hands.
Mm-hmm.
And you ask for people to come around you. You ask the pastor to come pray for you. That's following the steps of the plan.
Mm-hmm.
And the word says, where 2 or 3 are gathered, He's there also.
Mm-hmm.
So you come together, you ask for the laying on of hands, they pray for you to get well when you're being sick. And when things are in the darkest hour, you put your faith in Him. So there again, you're putting faith and hope while you're in the darkest hour. Because last week we talked that joy comes in the morning. Last week was David. The week before it was Job.
Mm-hmm.
So when things are in the darkest hour, you put your faith in Him. Faith and hope. Because Job, he had no clue what was going on. He just sat there, and his family's all died, his vineyards all died, his animals went away, his housing went away.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that stayed was his wife and his friends. And they wasn't being too helpful anyway. But don't get discouraged that you don't get immediate results.
Mm-hmm.
I know some people they expect a 3-second result. Lord help me, I'm in trouble. But it takes X amount of days for it to get everything situated,
Mm-hmm.
for it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Some people they pray about about having the rent, and then 2-3 days later they get an envelope in the mail, and there's the money that someone from their past owed them, that exact amount they needed to pay the rent off with.
Mm-hmm.
And He hasn't forgotten you. He doesn't forget you.
No.
Because we know another part of the Old Testament, it talks about He knows how many hairs is on your head. He knew you before you were even born.
Right.
He knew what you're going to be doing in the future.
Right.
So He put these gifts into you, so that when you got to this point, that you know what you just know what to do.
Right.
He knows us. With him knowing this, I had a thing, I heard something and I went and found it. And it says, He knows your name. He gave you life. In His image you're made. He loved you. His love for you won't ever change. He knows your name. He hears your voice when you call Him. So you're sitting there watching TV during the night or whatever, and you're praying. He hears you
Mhm.
because He knows you.
Mhm.
His love for you won't ever change. He knows your name. He keeps you safe. He knows where you are. Sometimes you run. He tells you what to do. But in our minds, it might be a little too much.
Right.
Thanks, Wood. See you later.
Little too much, God. Little too much.
He sees you cry. He sees you. He hears you laugh. And He loves you when you do. His love for you won't ever change. He knows your name. He knows your name. He knows you. He knows you. He gave you life. In His image you're made. His love for you won't ever change. He knows your name. Now is a song from Janet Pascal. He knows our name. And if He knows us, then we know Him. If we know Him, then we put our faith in Him, our hope in Him, and our trust.
Mhm. Big word. Big word.
Now, Hebrews 11:1 says, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for." There is hope again in the evidence of things not yet seen. And hope is the feeling of what is wanted. Like you're hoping for a new car,
Yeah.
hoping for a new house,
Hope.
hoping for something better than what you got now.
Yeah.
What's the old antidote I have? God ain't gonna give you a Cadillac unless you can prove that you can run
Volkswagen.
a Volkswagen,
Yeah, I hear you.
a Pinto. That's it. God ain't gonna give you a Cadillac. You can't take care of a Pinto. There you go.
It's true. That is true.
But the rich young ruler, he's over here. He's done everything from childhood. But yet, when it came time to put foot to the dirt, he turned around and walked away because it was too much for him. He didn't know how to live without all that. He's never had to trust anybody before. He never had to trust anybody. I mean, he's always had the money. So why trust?
Right.
He could pay his way through. But when it came time for him to sell it all and just trust in God, he didn't know how. And that's where the mindset is of you have to have the renewing of the mind all the time. Everything's changing. Everything's going forward.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't sit in one spot your entire life and expect something new to happen here.
Right.
You have to keep going and changing.
Right.
What's Einstein said? What is it? You're doing something 10 times, expecting the same result.
Mm-hmm.
You're stupid. It's a quote from him. But and you fail when you stop. Also from Einstein. So if you're there, you keep praying, you keep going, and keep going, and keep going, and keep praying. And then the day you quit going, the blessing will just be starting. But you've turned away from it and walked away.
Mm-hmm.
Because you didn't persevere and finish the faith and hope. Father, thank you for letting us be here today. And those that hear this, bless them. Hope they get the understanding. In your name we pray. Amen.
Mm.